All right, so in today's YouTube video, I'm interviewing a customer of ours who grew his coaching business from $1,000 to $2,000 a month to about a year later, now doing $120,000 to $150,000 a month in sales at a really high profit margin. His name's Connor, and he came to us much like a lot of people do, where they sort of know what they want to sell. They've got a vague idea of maybe what they could consult on, but they didn't have a clear pathway to really scale it. And so this is a really interesting interview for those of you who are serious about getting to that $1 million a year profit level, and want sort of an example of what that can look like with a online education, coaching, or consulting business. So enjoy this interview. We go really deep into sort of the mindset of getting to this level, how to view the business that you run, how to view yourself, how to view money, and as well, kind of the key points that helped him realize that he could do this, that really anybody could realize if they just got the right help. Which brings me to a quick point I want to make. If you want our help, we've got a few open slots as of the week of this upload. If you go ahead and pop a time using the link in the description to speak to one of my leaders, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna assess you, figure out where you're at, and see if you are qualified for our program, the Consulting Blueprint. This is the same program that helped the person you're about to learn from get to where he is today, okay? And so what we wanna do is just ask a bunch of questions, understand where you're at, and get to know you a little bit. And even if we decide not to let you through our doors, it's no hard feelings. It'll be the best 45 minutes you'll spend on your business to date. You're gonna get intense clarity from people who've actually done it and are currently doing it for people like Connor. Whether you do that or not, irrelevant, because I want this video to be valuable for you, okay? So whether you pay for our stuff and you get started, or you just learn from our free stuff, my goal is to be your favorite YouTube channel for how to grow your business to 100,000, 500,000, even $1 million a year, okay? So enjoy this interview with our student Connor, and eat it up because it's a really, really valuable one.
So my name's Connor Ricky. I help videographers with the business side, simply put. So the starving artist, videographer who knows how to shoot, knows how to edit, loves what they do, but sales, marketing, all that kind of stuff keeps them stuck at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and they want to grow a 10 to 15K plus per month video business. And that right there has come a long way since we started working together. Oh, yeah. In the very beginning, dude, it was like, I'm a videographer. I want to help people, do stuff and grow their business. And so even just saying that is like, wow, like it's crazy to see how far things have come. It's essentially what I help people with. Community has grown to 200 plus students in the past, probably year and a half, maybe 2 years tops, since working with you and CB and SB and everything. And it's just grown at a crazier level than I could have ever expected. Like when I initially joined your program, your first program, CB, my goal was to replace my video business income, which was about 15K per month. And I wanted another source of revenue. I always liked to coach and help people and make YouTube videos and educational content. So, it's just something I always wanted to do. I didn't really know which direction I would go, whether it was a course or a coaching program or becoming a YouTube influencer, whatever. But just by, investing in myself, trial and error, I kind of stumbled into what has worked. And I think that's just kind of how it goes in life. So when we started working together, I was making maybe $1,000 a month with my course at the time. It wasn't even a coaching business. I didn't even really know what like a coaching business was. Even though I had joined a couple courses and stuff like that, I had never really immersed myself in like the high ticket like coaching space. So when I joined and started working with you guys, like I said, my goal was literally to make 15K a month. And that was mind blowing to me. I was like, that's never going to happen. And then week one, I remember talking to one of your old coaches and your old salespeople on the sales call. And, it was a decent amount of money for me at the time to invest in that. He was like, dude, you're going to be at like 10K a month, like next week. Like, I swear, like you're sitting on gold. And I didn't have a huge following. I didn't really have much. He just saw what like potential I had. And he already kind of knew what my offer should be. And he had seen other people do it in the past. So he's like, you're going to crush. And I'm like, I almost said no, but I was like, you know what? It's been long enough. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to invest in myself. This is the most I've ever invested in myself. And then week one, made like 10K. So I went from, making about $1,000, maybe 2,000 in the past 2 years of trying to launch like an online course to 10K in the first week with my coaching program. So what you guys helped me do initially was restructure my offer, add some group coaching, add some more one-on-one coaching to it. So it wasn't just an online course, and raise my price to, I think it was 3K is what I was selling it for. Before that, I was selling the program for like $297, just your typical low ticket online course, what everyone was teaching. And I just sent it like you guys told me to do, charge 3K. That worked. Started upping the price, and I started charging 4K, 5K, and we charge even more than that now, and have a couple different offers. And now, about a year and a half later, aiming for $150,000 this month, already above 100K cash collected, and around $200,000 in revenue in total contracts. So that even sounds insane still, like coming out of my mouth, like, because it just doesn't seem real. But at the same time, I think what you've helped me do is think bigger and just kind of lead by example and show me what's possible. And like personally, if I know it's possible, like I'll do it. But I just didn't even believe that was possible. So that's kind of the overall picture of what's going on. Of course, there's all kinds of details we could dive into. It was not easy. There's all kinds of stuff I had to learn. I've never grown so much in the last year and a half as a business person, as just a human being. My mindset's on a whole different level, which you really have to break through to get past, to be honest, even like 10, 15K a month. It always comes down to the mindset stuff, which I think you excel at for sure. But of course, there's all the strategies and tactics and whatnot that you guys have helped me with, my lead gen process, sales, ads, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully I didn't give you more than you asked for, but that's kind of the overall breakdown, my dude. I appreciate you a ton. Wouldn't be here without you.
Perfect amount, dude. Well, I think tell people a bit about what the major kind of learning points were for you. Because you joined CB, it sounds like the price raise and learning how to sell and see the opportunity that we saw there was big. And I think it's so funny, man. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Like a lot of people think, oh, I don't have the opportunity that Connor has because Connor had some. Like the reality is, like half of the time, like this is a little secret about my consulting practice, is people need to be told that they can, and then a lot of the time they will. And like most of the time people are just getting in their own way. So with you selling it for 3,000, like, dude, I'm telling you, 90% of the people we work with, it's just like they don't give themselves permission to even make the ask, and then make that ask like 5 times, and like 1 or 2 fall through, and they're like, whoa, why was I doing it the old way for so long? So that's super cool, and I think that's probably one of the biggest learning points. But like, do you have any other like key sort of like, okay, this was a big breakthrough, this was a big breakthrough, this is a big breakthrough, that like you can credit to having worked with us in particular, that like you can reminisce on, be like, okay, once that happened, it was like a windfall from there kind of moments?
Sure. It's like the what is it, the one thing concept. It's like when you knock over that one big item, everything else becomes easier. Is that the one thing? I don't know, maybe it's a different concept. But yeah, the big domino. There you go. So like, what was a big domino? Definitely the high ticket thing. You weren't the first person to tell me that I needed to do high ticket stuff. I had friends and other people in the space doing it and stuff. And I just genuinely like did not believe that someone would buy, a course or some coaching for $3,000, for $5,000. But again, like, I think that just comes back to the mindset thing of like knowing what's possible and just limiting beliefs. And like at this point, I'm just like, I tell people every day, like $5,000 just isn't that much money. Like even if, you only have 1,000 in your bank account right now, I'm telling you, if you're telling me you want to make 10, 15K a month or 250K a year, but you're not willing to, somehow find $5,000 to kickstart that journey, like it's just not that much money. And that was like something that I think kept me really stuck for a long time. So that was the first one, was raising the price and just knowing that it was possible. And not only that it was possible, but that people would be thrilled to wire you 5K pay in full after a 30 to 45 minute sales call or before ever meeting you or seeing your face before. Like insane. And then they come in and they get insane results and you change their life. And I think just going through that process and seeing that was kind of like, okay, game on. Like if we can do one, we can do another. If we can do another, we can, and we just did a price raise again last month by 20%. So we're still raising our prices. But besides the decision to go high ticket, which I think everyone should do, don't mess around with low ticket stuff. Start high ticket and then work your way down to low ticket. And I'm at 100K plus a month right now, and I still don't have a low ticket offer. My cheapest offer is $5,000. And that's if you pay in full. Eventually, if it makes sense for the business model, I might come out with like a 297 or a 97 or a 47. A lot of people have that backwards. So start with the high ticket because you only need 10 clients at 5,000 a piece to make 50K a month. So start high and work your way back. That's number one. I think number two was sales and learning how to conduct a proper sales call with a stranger. for sure. That was number 2, was like diving into your guys' sales script, just trusting the process. Felt super uncomfy in the beginning, but just putting in the reps slowly but surely, feeling more comfortable with hopping on a Zoom call face to face with a complete stranger, building rapport, setting an agenda, holding the frame of the call all the way through, walking them through, a transformation, making an offer, overcoming objections, and getting a payment on the call. That was a completely new thing for me. So because in traditionally in a video business, most high ticket video projects like 10, 15, 20K plus, it's usually at least like a 2 call close. So I was never really used to like closing on the first call. So that was really uncomfy. So that would be the second big thing. And then third would probably be lead generation. So, and appointment setting. So how to strike up a conversation with someone in the DMs, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and open up a conversation with them and book in a call. That process was like also completely foreign to me. I thought you had to run ads or, something else. And, that was a new process to me, learning how to do that. And there's an absolute right and wrong way to do that. By the way, you don't just message people on Instagram who follow you and book them in and then close deals. Like there's a process. So I know I might be making it sound easy, but there's still a process you guys want to follow. So probably charging high ticket, number 1. And then what was the second one I even said?
Charging high ticket.
Charging high ticket.
Said sales call, how to conduct a sales call.
Yes, how to conduct a sales call, close on that call, and then how to appointment set. And that's what got me to like 50, 60K a month. After that is when I upgraded to SB. And then that's when I started building my team, which is a whole different beast. And that's what took me from 50 to where we're at right now, which is about 120 to 150 per month is team. And that's an art form.
Setter, right? Closer, coach, setter.
Yeah, it was, closer, coach to run my program. So I'm not hopping on one-on-ones all day long and in Slack all day long. And then appointment setter. So I'm not in the DMs all day long, and I could buy my time back and make more content, work on more mindset stuff, just, self-care stuff. So you can think very high level. That's kind of where I'm at now. And I think that's what's going to get me from 100 to 500 per month if I want to go that direction.
100%. Yeah. The happiest people make the most money. That's how I've heard it said, like you want to, it gives you the space, so I remember
this book right here talks all about it.
It's a great book.
Says you should make as much money as you humanly can, because money's just energy, and you either do good with it or bad with it. And if you're a good person, you're going to do good things with money.
100%, dude.
And I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're a good person.
I think most are. That's so sick, dude. And it's been really cool watching, because it's just like to a T what I see in potential when I'm speaking with a lot of people who are on the receiving end of our like when we tell people yeah, you can do this, this is what I mean. You know what I mean? Because people, I think half of it is they just don't knight themselves. They need somebody to come and say, yes, you can do it. Yes, you have the right niche. Yes, you have an offer you can do that with. Yes, you know what I mean? And also people who don't know what their niche is going to be, or even what they're going to sell, getting somebody to help them build that, something that can scale to that level. Because most people, dude, that I've found, they do one of a few things. They either have way too much confidence about it and think they could probably figure it out themselves, or B, have absolutely zero confidence and don't even try because they don't have that confidence, right? And so it's really just 2 extreme ends of the bell curve that I've observed, having spoken to those new people you've spoken with. And for yourself, dude, I think the thing that our team told you when you first enrolled, yeah, you're sitting on a pot of gold. Dude, it's so funny. Candidly, man, and this isn't, and not to say that we lied, but we say that because when we say that, people are like, oh shoot, and then they believe it themselves. So by saying that, some people are gonna be like, oh, it's all a sham. But dude, it's so funny. People just need united, and then once but like you said something very fascinating a second ago. Once you see it done in front of you and you see it exemplified, and you believe that you can, most of the details fall into place. And most people, that's what they're missing, is a clear pathway and belief in them, and telling them, yes, you can do this. And obviously we'll tell people, hey, you're making a wrong move if they're making the wrong move. That's a part of what we do. You know what I mean? You've made wrong moves, other students have made wrong moves, and we've helped course correct and make sure we keep you on pace and everything. That's part of our job. But as long as we don't see an iceberg coming over the horizon that's gonna hit the Titanic, you know what I mean? We're yeah, keep staring, so I guess, yeah, what is it like, contrast what it feels like now, having gone from where you were? Because I remember working with you a little bit on like some group calls and stuff back when you were doing like 1 or 2 thousand a month, and it's like it's a very different person that I'm interacting with now. So I'm curious, like, you know, what life is like, the contrast of how your life looks, like how you look, kind of, you know, making it more personal, like what this has done for you, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I'll get into that in just a sec, but there's something I want to say regarding what you just said. There's an awesome thing that I think Tony Robbins speaks about. He talks about how in this order, this is how you make a breakthrough. State, story, and strategy. Strategy comes last. If you're not in the right state and you're not telling yourself the right stories, then the strategy doesn't matter. And that's been like a huge, I forget where I heard it. I think it was just like a reel or something like a year ago. And then I really like studied it and listened to like his whole thing he had on it. And it's something I tell my students all the time, because when people join your program and my program, most people just want the strategy. But then once they join, it's like, all right, like we got to rewire the way you think a little bit first, because you're telling yourself the wrong stories. You're telling yourself you can't do it. So it doesn't matter what the strategy is, because even if you book the calls and you solve your setting problem, you're going to get on those sales calls and you're not going to allow yourself to close them, because you're not going to be convicted, because deep down you think that 5K, you're ripping them off. And that's too much. They shouldn't be spending that money. So that was just like a huge thing for me, which I like knew, but then I heard that quote and it made it click. So anyways, a little aside there. It's like, guys, Trey's going to tell you, he's going to tell you when you join the program, like mindset. That is what it's all about. Once you can break through that, then you can learn the strategies fairly easily, which is still going to be quicker by joining a program than trying to do that on your own. But you're also going to get just that accountability and those coaches to like give you what you need versus what you might think you want right now.
And dude, it's I've been studying a lot more Tony Robbins as of late, because like when I first was getting started as an entrepreneur, I was like, Tony Robbins, whatever. Like everybody talks about Tony Robbins. But now that I've matured as an entrepreneur, I can see like, wow, this guy, he really does get a lot. And like one of the things that he's been saying, I've been listening to a lot of his just tapes recently. It's cool that you bring him up. Like one of the things that he mentioned recently is the concept of inner congruency, like in how your power comes from a place of true congruency. So like one of the things that is really difficult in the business model that I teach is helping people feel truly convicted and like really good about what they're going to sell, and like feeling like, okay, when I sell this, like I can really help you. Because like that's what 99% of beginners, they just want to know they're doing something legit, that's real, that can really help people. When you're helping people, somebody start like this new business, you know what I mean, and it's like something that the idea has just come to them, they've done some market research, they just put together a CST, they've got everything, they've got it packaged together, but they're just like, okay, now I have to figure out how to like do this. One of my earlier mentors told me you have to sell yourself first and then you can sell other people. And so what it looks like to sell yourself is just to sit down and do that mental chess with yourself about how valuable this is, and be willing to have an honest conversation of, do I not feel like this is valuable? If I don't feel like it is, why don't I? And what do I need to do to it to make it of value for me to feel not just justified in going and charging 5K, but like that's a steal because of the outcome I'm trying to drive for somebody, right? And so I think that's dude, that is where beginners get stuck over and over and over again, man, is they've never spent that much on something, therefore they don't know how to ask that much of somebody, you know what I mean? They've never been on the receiving end of that. So it's like, how do you even go about that? You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a ton of mental work that happens to get somebody off the ground, man. And I think credit to you, you took that mental work and you were like ready for it. You're like, oh man, I see what it clicked in your head very quickly. Like half of the game, maybe 60% of this business model is like you're thinking, probably 70%. Like the rest is like the traffic channel, the offer, the niche you're in, everything like that. But like most of it comes down to the thinking of the leader. But yeah, back to my question then about how it's kind of affected your life and what it's done for you. Because I know you and your girlfriend, you go camping, which is funny. I think you inspired my wife and I to like go camping more.
Yes.
Like we go camping more now, which is awesome. Dude. Yeah. So like what has it done for you like personally, and why does this result matter so much to you?
Yeah, man. To give you the completely honest answer, not a ton. Just because I have a very long-term vision and I haven't really let it affect my life too much. Like I'm very, very devoted in growing this business, and I know we're just getting started. So to be honest, like nothing crazy. However, of course it's made life a little bit easier in certain elements. I don't have to worry about food and buying food. I was able to buy my time back for certain things so I could do more of what I enjoy. So for example, I got a housekeeper, I got someone to do our laundry, to clean the house. Like these little things like that buy back another 3 hours on my Sundays so that we can go mountain biking or snowboarding or doing the things we enjoy, so that come Monday, I'm in a better headspace and I can do better work. So again, it still comes back to like, you know, it's an investment in the business almost. So like, to be completely honest, like nothing crazy. I'd say the biggest thing for me is it's shown me like what is possible and what I can do, and I've proven that to myself. So it feels very good. And it gives me a sense of security that if I can do it once, I can do it again. And you know, you just have to have money to thrive in the economy in which we live and to be comfortable and to take care of your family. And it's security. I'd say number one, security. It's not what most people think, you know, making 100K a month or 150K a month is, which is like buying a nice car and like, you know, buying a fat house and like all that kind of stuff. Like it just gets old really, really, really fast. Like we were just in LA for 3 days for a family thing. And like, it's cool to go down there and see the money, but like you realize that these people are just bored. They have more money than they can ever imagine. And they're just bored because it's just not a very deep, I don't know. It's like you get it. And then it's like you think you wanted those things. And then like 5 days later, you realize that's not why you actually need or want money. And then you like readjust your values and your mission. And so
I think that really is what I'm asking, because I think I'm asking how it has affected you. The thing that stood out the most is like proving to yourself that you can do it. Because dude, I remember my first 6-figure month, it was the exact same feeling. It was like, okay, you know, 2 years ago, like 2 short years ago, I had no idea where to start. I didn't even know what I would do online, you know, found a mentor, went all in, figured it out for myself, and just did everything he told me to do. Like, was just a great student, right? And it kind of felt a little bit unreal, but that was probably the biggest thing. Was it felt like, okay, like I can do it. And what it got me to believe in, because I'm really not that smart, honestly. I just really
at all.
Yeah. And I think it's honestly an advantage, because like I can just like not over intellectualize stuff, and just like when somebody says I should do something, I just kind of go and try it. And like what I've found is like it helped me believe in like the innate potential of, like, I know I'm gonna sound super woo-woo here, but the innate like baked in potential of a human brain when it truly decides to do something. Like most people want things, but they haven't decided to go get them. And this is a huge difference. Like wanting something, but deciding to go and do it are two very different drivers. And so I think a lot of the time, you know, money talk, like where you put your money says where your motivations are. And so when somebody like yourself says, all right, putting my money up, I'm going to spend more than I've spent in forever or on anything really. And I'm going, that's a decision that somebody's making. That's the decision that you made. Right. And that's the power behind, I think, what we do is we're really just a vessel, man. Like I'm actively spending, I'm about to spend like 60 grand on this mastermind. Guys doing like 5 to 10 million a year, like, get around these people. And it's so weird to say that, because like it doesn't even feel like I'm saying 60 grand, you know what I mean? It's just this arbitrary like thing. But then when I get in these rooms and I learn from what they have to say, I'm just channeling it right constantly. And I'm sure that you feel the same way for your students, you know what I mean? It's like, even though, you know, it's almost like all the stars connect, and all the lessons that you learn over here apply over here, and you can start to sort of channel it in and give it to them in a way that moves them forward. So I don't know, man, that's the exact same transformation that I experienced. So I'm curious now, kind of, we talked about this a little bit before we kicked off the recording and you know, actually started recording, but what does the future look like for you? Because I know you've got a lot of options, you know what I mean? Like, so now you're going to do 120, 150 a month. You've got a great dialed in team. Your whole team's making tons of money. You know, your students are succeeding. It's all dialed in. Kind of, is it a season of enjoying it? Is it a season of enjoying it and thinking about what the next thing looks like? Because I think people are curious how people process this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, for sure. And that's kind of my biggest not challenge, but thing I'm trying to figure out right now. But I will say this, like the path to 500K a month is 10 times more clear right now than the path to 10K a month was when I started.
Yeah.
Which is, I kind of just put 2 and 2 together and realized that, which is pretty crazy. It's not like, wow, that's insane. Like that's such a stretch. It's just like, I know the work that's going to be involved to get there. It's like, do I want to do that right now? But it's not like, is that possible or not? Like whatsoever. Like maybe $1 million a month to me is like something like, wow, is that possible? I know it is, but that's more of a stretch. But like 500 is like, you know, the same thing as like going from 0 to 10. To be honest, it probably is like even less. Like going from 0 to 10 was like probably 5 times more like insane than going from 100 to 500 at this point. So it's definitely a season of, you know, balancing the enjoyment of what I've built and also looking ahead. Like we're constantly making improvements to the program. I think I'm very like program focused right now. We have a lot of really cool initiatives that we're bringing to just making the program better. We have a guest speaker program that's going to be rolling out. We have all kinds of just like fun, cool stuff for the students. We have in-person meetups coming through, masterminds, all that kind of stuff. And those are just things that like I really want to do, just like goals that I've had and things I've wanted to do. And I finally have the space to do that because I do have the team now. I've kind of checked some of the major boxes, like getting a reliable lead generation process, sales process. Students are happy, wins are coming through, refund rate is crazy low, if not non-existent. So like all the like boring important stuff is done now. And there's like these items that I've had on my radar that are like more fun and just like things that I want to do that are still going to add a ton of value to the program, but they're like longer term stuff that's not like so like immediate revenue generating. So like I think that's kind of some of the stuff I'm working on right now, more so than like trying to scale, because to be honest, and it might sound crazy, like for me, it's like, what's the difference between 150 a month and 500 a month? My life probably isn't going to change that much, to be completely honest. I might be wrong. I might be naive in saying that, but I just feel like there's just not going to be much of a change in my lifestyle. And so I'd rather make the program better. And like, I really want like our mission I talk to my team about every single week is like Creators University is going to be the leading, the industry leading video business education program. And pretty much already is, but it it's something I just want to not even be I want it to be a fact. And so that's another huge motivating driver. And I think that's really important is you're coaching on something you actually enjoy. To go back to like how it's made me feel now doing what I'm doing, like fulfillment is huge. Like I always wanted to be doing something that like really fulfilled me. And like, I genuinely feel like, I'm there. Of course, you're never going to like fully arrive. Like that's just life. Like you always are going to be looking for the next best thing. But there's this concept called ikigai. You guys can look it up if you're watching. It's like a Japanese term, I believe, where it's like kind of a Venn diagram kind of thing. And it's like doing what you love, and doing what makes you money, and then like doing what there's a need for in the marketplace. And ikigai is like right in the middle. And like, that is where I feel like I'm at right now. It's like, I pretty much equally enjoy it, make a ton of money, and like provide a value to the marketplace. So to answer your question, I'm not quite sure. Trying to figure that out.
Totally.
We'll let time tell. We'll do another one of these in like a year.
Totally, dude. And I think, it's really interesting. Once you've built a business that provides options, you really do have just a lot of choices. I will tell you one thing, and I've told you this a little bit over Slack. I've seen a lot of guys that I've helped get to your level, or even a little bit further in some cases, and they do start to see what they have as very bulletproof. And I'll tell you right now, like from experience of having gone backwards a couple times, as well as from seeing it happen to a couple of my clients, like it's not bulletproof. It really feels bulletproof though, and it's really deceiving, but it doesn't take much. And so we can talk about this off record and stuff, but like there are some, if you're gonna enjoy it for what it is now, there's holes that you have to plug in order to let it stay what it is. So you either plug those holes, which takes work, or you keep it growing for a while and then you put leadership in place, which then the holes are plugged because you got people who like lead this sales team and like lead the coaching department and like lead the finances and all this stuff. And then the security comes from like an inner circle of 4 people you work with that help lead the biz view. And then the security is in the quality of those relations. So you've kind of got 2 decisions. You plug the holes yourself or scale and put leaders in place. And I'm opting for the scale and put leaders in place sort of mentality, because it's like personally, and this is me, like, and Lily, like I just think it'd be really cool to have like 3 really important relationships: head of client success, head of marketing, head of sales. And like we just chill and we run this amazing thing together. And so it's like they're like friends and they're colleagues and we work together and we're all like blood brothers and we do this together. And like that to me just sounds, you know what I mean? And so it's like that's kind of why I'm opting for scaling, is because I find security in picking the right people to be on the inside of it. So because I think I'm very security driven on some core level, and so that's why I've chosen to scale. So yeah, that's why I'm doing. But yeah, man, it's super interesting, the psychology of it all, because I remember feeling it being very bulletproof. Yeah. And it changes and things change. The people inside change, the market changes, the marketplace that you're serving in changes. So that's the best, in my opinion, the best route to go. But I don't know. It's up to you. you know, and you've got so many ways. We even talked about you launching potentially like starting a SaaS thing, or there's so many options, dude, that you can play with right now. So whatever you decide to do, just commit all the way to it. Don't be half. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's the only way. You have to be. That goes for everyone watching. It's like, if you're going to do this, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, be like, all right, just watch this. Be like, all right, it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, if he can do it, so can I. Like, I'm, by nature, I'm a creative. I'm right brained. Yeah. This is a very left brain business where you have to look at the numbers. You have to know your cost per calls. You have to know, all that stuff. And like, that was a huge learning lesson for me, is to like run a business off of just data versus emotion and how you're feeling about things. And like, that's what it means to be creative. And that's why that's what we teach our students. It's hard to run a video business because half of it is business, half of it is creative, and you have to be able to switch between those two. But like, if you're just going to do it, like, just do it. You guys know it's possible now. So, I had no advantages. I got like C's in math, like always. And I still like make very stupid financial number mistakes. And my team's just like, how did you even arrive at that? Or like, that was like 2 + 2. And you said it was 5. So like, I'm a dummy. Like, you guys can do this.
Well, it's like what you said, man. You can either want something or you can decide to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the difference. Where people lie to themselves is they think that wanting it is having decided to do it. It's not. Wanting is just wanting. It's just desire. Mm-hmm. Deciding to do it is, I'm willing to sacrifice whatever's necessary to get there, all the way down to my deepest, darkest comforts and the things that I don't want to let go of. And if you're willing to let go of those, that's when, to get woo-woo again, kind of the world opens up, the universe opens up, or whatever, and that thing is yours. When you make the decision to do it, it becomes clear. Not when you want it or you desire or put it on a pedestal, So anyway, man,
yeah, 100%. Everyone wants it until it comes time to, investing half of what they have to their name to getting the process started, or,
yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? Or like, just like you said, facing your deepest, darkest things that you have to overcome. It's like, oh, well, maybe I don't really want this. So it's a really good point. 100%.
Well, cool, man. Great interview, dude. And we will do another one, whether you decide to grow or you're still here. I think if you're still here, if you decide to stay here and you're still here like 4 to 5 years from now, you're an anomaly. And the way you get there, and I've seen it, you have to plug little operational, team, culture, and reputational holes. That's like how you sustain what you've currently done. And then you make like, 80, 90 grand a month and you're chilling. You know what I mean? So yeah, dude, no, huge congrats. It's been a pleasure working with you, dude. And thanks for spending some time with me on the channel.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you and everything you do. 100%.